Your dog is not jealous of your phone. They are jealous of what your phone represents, your attention leaving the room without your body following. Research on canine jealousy found that dogs respond to social rivals the same way human infants do, with redirection, interference, and physical insertion between you and the threat. If you want to understand what your dog is really telling you, you are in the right place. Picture this. You are sitting with your partner on the couch. Your dog is on their bed across the room, calm, settled. Then your partner reaches over and puts their arm around your shoulder. Within seconds, your dog is up. Not running, not barking, just moving, steadily, deliberately, directly between you and your partner. They do not make a sound. They simply insert themselves into the geometry of your connection. This is primordial jealousy, and almost every dog owner has seen it. The dog who pushes between you and a hug. The dog who paws your leg the moment you pick up a baby. The dog who crowds the doorway when a friend stays too long. We tend to laugh at it. We say it is cute, or possessive, or a little clingy. What we rarely do is ask the more interesting question. What is this behavior designed to do? Because jealousy in dogs is not a personality quirk. It's an evolved social strategy, one that emerged specifically in the context of a relationship with humans. And understanding what triggers it in your dog is the first step to understanding what it mirrors in you. Here's the thing most dog content will not tell you. The behavior itself, the insertion, the interruption, the crowding, is almost identical across dogs. What varies enormously is how owners respond to it. Some owners laugh and gently redirect. Some pull their dog close and reinforce it. Some feel secretly validated, pleased that their dog chose them, that the bond is visible, that someone in the room sees their value. Some feel annoyed, embarrassed, even ashamed of the display. In 1998, Josef Topal and his colleagues at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest ran a series of attachment studies on domestic dogs, applying a modified version of Ainsworth's strange situation test, the same paradigm used to classify infant attachment styles. What they found was striking. Dogs form genuine attachment bonds with their primary owners, and those bonds follow the same secure, anxious, and avoidant patterns observed in human infants. Which means the jealousy you are watching is not random. It is shaped by the attachment dynamic you have built together. Your dog's jealousy reflects your relationship's emotional architecture, and your response to it reveals your own. Number 1. Dogs did not develop jealousy by accident. They developed it because it worked. In 2014, Christine Harris and Caroline Prouvost at the University of California, San Diego published what became the first peer-reviewed experimental study of jealousy in dogs. They tested 36 dogs in their home environments, having owners interact with 3 objects: a realistic stuffed dog that barked and wagged, a jack-o'-lantern pail, and a pop-up book. The dogs showed significantly more jealous behaviors, snapping, pushing, touching the owner, in response to the stuffed dog than to either control object. The critical detail: the stuffed dog was not real. It could not actually threaten the bond. But the dogs responded as though it could. This tells us something important. Jealousy in dogs is not a reaction to a real threat. It is a reaction to the perception of a social triangle, any signal that attention might be redirected. Over thousands of years of coevolution with humans, dogs who monitored owner attention and acted to preserve it survived better. The jealous dog is not insecure. It is strategically adapted. And the owner who finds that flattering, that tells us something too. Number 2. Jealousy requires 3 parties. That is what makes it structurally different from separation anxiety or resource guarding. Resource guarding is about objects: the bowl, the toy, the sleeping spot. Separation anxiety is about absence, the owner leaving. But jealousy is fundamentally about the relationship between 3 entities: me, you, and the thing that now has your attention instead of me. Researchers call this the social triangle, and it is one of the most cognitively sophisticated emotional structures we know of in non-human animals. For a dog to be jealous, they must be able to represent, this person's attention matters to me, that other thing is receiving it, and I have the power to intervene. That is theory of mind adjacent. It requires the dog to model your mental state, your focus, your preference, and act to change it. What does this mean for you as an owner? It means your dog is paying more attention to where your attention goes than almost any other signal you send. The phone, the baby, the partner, the guest, Your dog is not reacting to the object, they are reacting to you orienting away from them. They are watching the direction of your gaze and the softening of your voice, and they are deciding, is this a threat to what we have? If that just made you see your relationship with your pet in a completely different way, hit subscribe. We explore the science of the human-pet bond every week and what it reveals about us. Alright, let us keep going. Number 3. Your stress is your dog's stress, and your jealous dog may be responding to something you have not consciously registered yet. In 2019, Anne-Sophie Sundman and her team published a landmark study in Scientific Reports. They measured hair cortisol, a long-term stress marker, in 58 dog owner pairs over 2 separate seasons. The correlation between owner cortisol and dog cortisol was statistically significant and remarkably consistent. The dogs were not just mirroring acute stress events, they were absorbing their owner's chronic emotional baseline. Here's where this connects to jealousy. The dogs most prone to heightened jealousy responses in studies tend to be dogs who are already operating at an elevated arousal baseline. And that baseline, Sundman's data suggests, is partly a function of the owner's internal state, not the dog's innate temperament. If you are someone who carries low-level relational anxiety, worry about connection, vigilance about whether you are wanted, your nervous system may be communicating that to your dog at a level below your own awareness. Your dog does not need to hear the words, they are already reading the physiological score. Number 4. The way you respond to your dog's jealousy is one of the clearest windows into your own attachment style. Attachment theory, originally developed by John Bowlby and expanded by Mary Ainsworth, describes the internal working models we carry from early relationships: secure, anxious, preoccupied, or dismissive, avoidant. These models do not stay in childhood. They travel with us into every close relationship, including, the research now suggests, the one with your dog. Topol's 1998 work at Et Vos Larand established that dogs form attachments following these same 3 patterns. The dogs of secure owners explore more, return to the owner as a safe base, and tolerate separations with less distress. The dogs of anxiously attached owners show elevated proximity seeking and struggle more acutely when left alone. Now apply that to jealousy. If your dog pushes between you and a hug, and your instinct is to pull the dog in and hold it close, ask yourself, whose need was just met? If your dog's jealousy fills something in you, a proof of devotion, a reliable love in a room full of unreliable ones, that is not a problem. That is information. It is your attachment history showing up in a wagging body. You did not teach your dog to need you this way, but your nervous system is speaking a language they already understand. Number 5. The most common response to a jealous dog makes the jealousy stronger, and it is almost impossible to stop doing it. When your dog inserts itself between you and a source of attention, and you respond by touching the dog, reassuring the dog, or orienting your body back toward the dog, you have just told them that the strategy works. The insertion produced exactly the outcome the behavior was designed to produce. Your attention returned. This is not a blame statement. It is a feedback loop. And it is one that most owners cannot identify as it is happening, because the response feels like kindness. It feels like attunement. It is attunement in a human sense. We were taught that when someone bids for connection, you turn toward them. The problem is not the turning toward. The problem is that your dog is now learning to experience any redirected attention as a threat, because every time they escalate, you return. Over weeks and months, this can produce a dog who cannot tolerate normal social interactions, not because they are badly wired, but because they have learned that your undivided attention is both achievable and essential. That dog is not broken. That dog is responding rationally to the environment you have built. Number 6. The antidote to primordial jealousy is not distance, it is security. And the difference matters enormously. Topol's attachment research and the extensive body of work it inspired at the Vienna Clever Dog Lab and the Et Vos Larand Ethology Department consistently finds that dogs with secure attachment do not disappear at the first sign of arrival. They do not become frantic or manic when their owner's attention moves. They check in, they orient, they return to their owner as a base, confirm the connection, and re-engage with the world. A securely attached dog does not need to eliminate the rival because the bond does not feel fragile. They know you come back. They know the hug ends. They know the phone goes down. For owners, the implication is both simple and hard. Security is not transmitted through extra closeness during moments of jealousy. It is built through hundreds of predictable, ordinary returns. You leave, you come back. You look away, you look back. You pick up the baby, you put the baby down, and you are still there. The dog who trusts that pattern does not need to guard the geometry of your attention. They do not need to insert themselves because they already know their place is not contingent on vigilance. That is not just a lesson in dog training. That is the architecture of any relationship that holds. So what do you do with this? You start by noticing your response, not your dog's behavior, your response. The next time your dog inserts itself between you and someone else, pause before you reach for them. Not to punish the dog, not to push them away, just to notice what happens in your own body in that moment. Do you feel a small bloom of satisfaction, a quiet pleasure that the dog chose you publicly right now? That is not a character flaw. That is attachment history. It is the part of you that still measures love by its visibility. Or do you feel a flash of embarrassment, a quick need to manage it, to show the room that you have everything under control? That too is information. That is the part of you that learned early that need is something to be managed, not welcomed. Neither of these responses makes you a bad owner. They make you human. But naming them gives you a choice that mindless reaction never does. A dog who experiences you as a secure base does not need to perform the relationship for the room. And owners who have done their own attachment work, who no longer need the performance, find that their dog's jealousy tends to soften on its own. Not because the dog was trained differently, because the emotional environment changed. Your dog is not judging you. They are reflecting you. The invitation is to look at what they are showing you. There is a moment that happens in almost every home with a dog. You are mid-conversation, mid-hug, mid-something, and a warm body appears in the space between you and whoever else is in the room. Pause, a seeking nose, a gaze that does not waver. We used to call that jealousy and leave it there, a behavioral footnote, a quirk to be managed or laughed at. But the science says something different. It says this dog evolved specifically to monitor your attention. It says they are running the same attachment calculus that human infants run. It says the way you respond in that moment, the reach, the pull-in, the reassurance, is not just dog training. It is a window into how you learn to love and be loved. Your dog did not come to you broken. They came to you attuned. They read your emotional frequency and they set their dial to match it. The jealousy you see is not the problem. It is the signal. And the most powerful thing you can take from this is not a training tip. It is a question. What is my dog's jealousy showing me about the relationship I built and the one I am still learning to trust? Thank you for investing your time with us today. Now that you know your dog's jealousy reflects the attachment style you have built together, and what your response to it reveals about your own relational wiring, we are curious. When your dog inserts itself between you and someone else, what do you notice happening in your own body in that moment? Let us know in the comments. New episodes drop every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so make sure you are subscribed to catch the next one. Until then, decode your dog, decode yourself.